Somebody came by to this shop this week and said to me, "This is going to be a difficult Yom Tov." Didn't know what he was meant. I thought maybe he means because Yom Tov comes out during the week. Rosh Hashanah, you have right smack in the middle of the week, so you go from Shabbos straight into Yom Tov, and then from Yom Tov straight back into Shabbos. So it's long, and it basically doesn't. You don't have a weekdays, so it's difficult. So he says to me, "No, it's very long selichos this year. We're going to have so many days of selichos, the longest that's possible, and." Difficult. So I said, "What do you mean? That's even easier to create a sense of tshuva by having such many days of selichos. For that little amount of time that you have to get up and say selichos, it helps the situation. There's preparation for selichos. This week's Sedra, we had the selichos. Bostoner Rebbe says we say selichos the Torah at the end of Sefer Vayikra and Parshas Yisroel. One comes out before Shavuos, and the other one comes out before Rosh Hashanah. And people look at selichos as a form of punishment. Selichos, he explains, is not a form of punishment, but it's a form to cleanse Klal Yisrael of their averos. Like you take silver and you polish the silver, you wipe it down, takes off the schmutz, the dirt. That's the situation of selichos. And he explains that there are distinctions between Parshas B'chukoisai and Parshas Kisavoi. In B'chukoisai there are 49 klolos. If you count up in Parshas Kisavoi, it's 98. And he says the Pasha of Kisavoi was given over by Moshe Rabbeinu, but it's in a higher madrega. It goes from above to down, the cleansing of a person. And you see it from the words of Tishrei. If you take the letters of Tishrei, it goes Tov Shin Reish Yud. Tov is the value is 400, Shin is the value of 300, Reish is the value of 200, down to 10. And it goes from up to down. To say that it's a higher type of cleansing that is needed both by the individual and also by Klal Yisrael. So, selichos, taking a couple of more days of doing selichos. After all, we have minig Ashkenaz and not minig Sfard. Sfard, they already started from the beginning of Elul saying selichos. And there are ways how to do selichos. And to do half kapar. The Ben Ish Chai had a tradition during Elul, not only to put on 2 pairs of tefillin, the Rashi and the Rabbeinu Tam, he had a tradition to put on 3 pairs of tefillin. Rashi Rabbeinu Tam during Shachris, and technically there are 4 shittas. I don't know why he chose the 3rd shitta, but he chose a pair of tefillin that is the shitta of, it's well known, of the Bostoner Rebbe. The Bostoner Rebbe shitta was that tefillin was in the order of Rashi, Kadesh, Kol HaBechor, Kadesh, Kadesh Kol HaBechor, and then Shema and V'hoyim Shemoyim. But instead of having it going, if you were facing the tefillin from right to left, the Bostoner Rebbe felt that the parsha should go from left to right. That was his pair of tefillin of Kadesh Kol HaBechor. And he put it on during Mincha. During Mincha time, he had that pair of tefillin. That was an Indian of doing something extra to create a person's desire to being a little better in Ruchnis. Elul is known to be the time of tshuva miyira, and we reach a point where we have to do tshuva mi'ahava. That we go onwards and upwards to create that our tshuva is not out of fear, but it's out of ahava. And you'll ask, where is there a greater institution of ahava than yira? And it's explained by Chassidish Svarim that yira comes from yiras achet, of fear of sin, punishment, whatever we're destined for. And yira me'ahava is, tshuva me'ahava is because we want to do what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants, to be an Oved Hashem. The first Tzaddiker Rebbe Zatzal explained by Rosh Chodesh pension, which we don't do at the end of Elul for Rosh Chodesh Tishrei. We say, Chaim sheyesh behem yireh shamayim. And then again, we mention yireh shamayim. We say, Chaim sheyesh behem Bostoner yireh shamayim. So it's repetitious. Why do we mention yireh shamayim twice? We should just say, Chaim sheyesh behem yireh shamayim. Nah, you want to say Bostoner. But the answer is because there's 2 types of yireh shamayim. There is yireh shamayim that is because you're fearful. But then there's a yireh shamayim of ahavas Torah, meaning because of your love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the higher madrega of what tshuva mehava is. There's the famous chazal that's brought down in Parshas Koirach. Mara Koirach l'shtuzah. What did Koirach see to do this foolishness? And chazal say, Einei hatiyoso, his eyes caused him, his eye caused him. He saw HaKadosh Baruch Hu's greatness, but he didn't see his own frailty. Ahavas Torah, when you learn Torah, you see the greatness of the Rebbeinu Shalom. The wisdom of Torah is so vast. Through Torah, we can have an inkling through our human mind of what it means to be an Oved Hashem, to know what HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with our bit of comprehension and intelligence is Klapa the Rebbeinu Shalom. So we say, Chaim Sheish B'Yir Shemayim. Okay, you worried. It's complicated. Schar v'oinish. What the rewards of a mitzvah is, what the repercussions of an aveira is, but we also want to know Avos Torah v'Yir Shemayim, that we should not have the Yir Shemayim, the state of the Schar v'oinish, but we should have the awe of what the Rebbeinu Shalom is through the Ahavas Torah. We make a statement in Pashas Sefer Dvarim, Pashas Yischanan, V'eschanan el Hashem b'eis hahi. Moshe Rabbeinu did tefillah as well. And one of the places that it says his tefillah was V'eschanan el Hashem. So there's a question when it says b'eis hahi, at that time. So what does it mean, that time? So there's from Reb Chaim Kanevsky, he brings down that some say that it was a 7-day period of time. It's from Rosh Chodesh Adar till Zayin Adar. That was it. That was the V'eschanan el Hashem. He was mispelled then. He thought maybe there's going to be a time he can nip it in the bud. Then he brings down an opinion that V'eschanan el Hashem was V'esahi, that time, that period of time when he was notified that the end is coming by the Rebbeinu Shalom. After his chait, where he smit the rock, from that time on, he was bound to the Rebbeinu Shalom. There are other opinions as well. There's an opinion that V'eschanan el Hashem b'esahi was the 40 days of Rachman from Rosh Chodesh Elul till Yom Kippur, after Yom Kippur. Because those days were Yemei Ratzon, as Moshe Rabbeinu knew when he was Mekabel the second Luchos Habris, and that's when he understood that maybe his tefillos will help, because it's a time of Ratzon. And the Ben Yehoiada explains that in 40 days you have 960 hours. I didn't do the calculation myself. Take out your computers. 960 hours. And we know that it's crucial for us to go to the mikveh. We go to the mikveh. We try, even those that will say don't go during the rest of the year, but we go to the mikveh on Erev Rosh Hashanah and Erev Yom Kippur, because mikveh creates what we call tshuva. This is brought down in halacha as well. as I mentioned many a time, the Mishnah Berurah brings it down, that on Erev Yom Kippur you have to go to the mikveh. If you go to the mikveh, go before mincha. Why do you go before mincha? Because during mincha on Erev Yom Kippur you have to say vidui, and it's the time of doing tshuva. In order to do tshuva, you have to have a mikveh. In order for a mikveh to be kosher, you need 960 lugin to have a kosher mikveh. So we see how everything fits into place to do tshuva. There has to be an understanding that everything has its time and place. Even Moshe Rabbeinu understood that. Moshe Rabbeinu, according to this understanding, could have said, okay, we have to misspell, let's stop being misspelled. No. He tried to get the perfect time to be able to be misspelled. Chazal instituted that our time is now. Someone once mentioned to me years ago that it's like a marathon. the davening, you start getting up to selichos, and then the next day get selichos, and then comes Erev Rosh Hashanah, and after Erev Rosh Hashanah, there's 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, and then you have Sum Gedalia, and then it continues on longer slichos during Aseret Yemei Tshuva, and after Aseret Yemei Tshuva, you have Yom Kippur, Yom Kippur. Yeah, it's a marathon. But just like a marathon, we don't want to have a heartbreak hill in the middle of the marathon. We have to have our mind on the task at hand. Yes, it's tshuva, repentance. And yes, it's on an annual basis that we do tshuva. It's good. Just like you have the teichacha. You read the teichacha on an annual basis to cleanse yourself. Tshuva also has to have times when you have to concentrate on it. And these are the times when we concentrate. There's a word from Kazansky that says there's 2 things to have in mind when you do tshuva. David HaMelech said, Lo ahavti soyosecha. But then he adds, right after that, Lo oivai techakmeini. From my enemies, I became smart. That's made me smart. After saying, Wa'ahavti soyosecha, you have to have the Ma'oivai techakmeini, that you have to become smart from your enemies? And the answer is yes. Avada, we have to love the Torah, and there has to be an understanding of Ahavas Torah and Yir Shemayim. You have to learn Ma'ivai Techakmeini from people like Achitophel. What happened to him at the end? They made David HaMelech smart. How was he made smart? By seeing the end results of these individuals, these Rishonim. Yes, I have to say this. But learn, all these people that want to do wishes, how they go and they set their goal for it. That's important. We're going to be having the yard site this week, Chof Dalet Tishrei of the Chofetz Chaim. Chof Dalet El of the Chofetz Chaim. The Chofetz Chaim was a very meticulous type of person. He had a mission in life. He gave out the Chofetz Chaim, and he gave out the Mishnah Berurah as well. He used to go around places trying to sell the sefer even. He left Rav and he used to go around selling the sefer. He used to make a cheshbon hanefesh during El. When he reached his older years, people saw that changed his shoes. The shoes were changed. The shoes were lace shoes in the past, and now he put on shoes loafers that you put in without having any laces on it. So usually when people get older, they encourage to wear shoes that have laces for more support. And they asked the Chofetz Chaim, why did he change his pair of shoes? What was the problem? So he said he made a cheshbon on nefesh during El, this past El, and he figured out that throughout the year he must have lost 2.5 hours of learning lacing and unlacing his shoes. And on that account, he decided who needs to have lace shoes? He's going to start wearing shoes without laces. That was his cheshbon. That's how meticulous the Chofetz Chaim was. Those seconds turned into minutes, and those minutes turned into hours, and he felt he lost a good chunk of time to be able to sit and learn. And you find that some Sofer says the same thing. Somebody asked some Sofer, what created that he had such a vast knowledge of Torah? You even see till this day, they put out svarim from the Sam Sofer, different new svarim. One time you had only Torah's Moshe, 2 chalakim, and then they made it into 5 chalakim, and afterwards they created even more vast. And besides Torah's Moshe, they took from the drushes of his, and they made some Sofer ala Torah, separate volumes. I asked him, where did he get this vast knowledge? Where did it come from? So he said, 5 minutes. That's what gave him the knowledge. Meaning that if he had several minutes of time to sit and learn, he didn't say, okay, I'll relax a little bit. He was able to understand that those minutes that were in between were also important to learn. The Chofetz Chaim has one other item that I'd like to mention now. He says that you have to be careful with the neshama. Just like this bris haguf, you have to keep your body healthy. There's what's called bris haneshama. You have to keep your soul healthy. Because this is the washing of the Chofetz Chaim. Just like you could become a Balmum, defective. Whatever the reasons are. You have defective. If you eat the wrong type of foods, you become overweight. And that causes different type of defects, whatever they are. So you become a Balmum. Maybe not a Balmum, what you call in the Torah a Balmum, but a Balmum that you have to start going to doctors for different types of maladies. But you are defective. In the same fashion, you have to know, the Chofetz Chaim says, that you can become a Balmum on your neshama. Your neshama is a Balmum. And you have to take care of business. You have to understand that you have to take care of yourself in not only in the Gashmi sense, in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense as well. And he states that that's the secret to be a good Jew. To understand that just like you can harm your actual body, you can harm your neshama as well. You might not feel it. When you overeat, you might not feel it. It's just what is it already? A couple more pieces of cake? What is it already? What's the big deal? Another scoop of ice cream? Same thing with the Aveira that you do. What is it already? It's a little Aveira. What they call, you say sheker. It's a white lie. It's not a real lie, it's a white lie. So I'm fudging a little bit. What's the big deal? No. That creates effectiveness. Yes. Selichos is the long haul. Baruch Hashem. We have a roadmap to be able to do slicha and kapor. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us the wherewithal to be able to do tshuva, tefillah, tzedakah, to be able to take care of our neshamas. And that's chus. We should be able to have our tefillahs being scalped v'rachim v'rutzon, and be zoicha to a ksiv v'toiv v'meir v'yameinu. Amen.